All right, part 2 of the program, we're going to go over the priorities and how that looks on our program. So let's draw our attention here to each macro cycle and each microcycle that we have. We've designated microcycles to be on a weekly basis, and we've designated a macro cycle to be something that we usually do for 8 or 6 weeks. The in-season's obviously going to vary from team to team, but let's focus on off-seasons for now. So as you can tell, each off-season has a different priority. Our first off-season, we have our priority towards hypertrophy, building a foundation, building muscle mass in our athletes. This is directly after the in-season. So this is the perfect time to push our athletes to new strengths and new heights. Big reason we have our secondary priority being strength is because they'll naturally be getting stronger as we push the weights and we push more and more muscle mass. Coming on to our second off-season, our priority shifts more heavily into the strength, so the intensities are going to be a lot higher. We've designated 2 different weeks to be at a much higher intensity, as you could tell by these 2 red weeks here. The first red week, we're not going to go max, but we're definitely going to be doing rep maxes. These are going to be between 3 to 5 rep sets at a much higher intensity, much higher weight. And this last week of March here, we're going to be focusing more on our 1 rep maxes. These are to establish different percentages that we're going to be using for the weights in concurrent off seasons. So obviously focus on the strength, but hypertrophy, muscle mass gain is going to be just a part of that as well as we go into our deload and base weeks. Off season 3, we're going to focus a little bit more on power. The athletes are going to be coming off of a strength building macro cycle. So we are going to use that newfound strength to apply it to more explosivity. These are when our athletes are going to be doing more explosive power-oriented movements, things like box jumps, bounds, things of that nature, while supplementing and supersetting with strength-style workouts. A great example would be box jumps into barbell back squats. This is so we can establish more explosivity, especially in our skills athletes, and add a little bit more strength on top of that going into our 4th season. As you can see, our 4th off season is going to be mainly focused on performance style strength. This is what we've deemed towards, again, max movement of load, maximum output in terms of strength. This is more of our slow, controlled, but heavy movements. So a lot less deload, a lot less of a higher rep scheme, and a lot more 5x5s, 4x8s, triples, doubles, and of course the last week of the off season, we're going to try to set new maxes. Hopefully by this time our athletes have gained some strength, and the difference between the first max day in off season 2 should obviously be improved when we come to mid-July when we hit our next max. After that, we're going to go into what we call our preseason. This is going to be more delegated towards conditioning. As you can tell, the 4-week block is going to be dedicated towards a baseline of strength. This is not where our athletes should be building strength and power. This is where they should be maintaining the conditioning going into the in-season. So a lot more cardio-centric, HIIT-style workouts, still throwing around some weights, but not trying to go super heavy so we don't sustain any injuries in our players. Finally, we're going to go into our in-season. This is definitely going to vary from team to team. A big thing that we are definitely about at the Performance Lab is customization from team to team. And this is a big part of the customization from team to team. Each coach is going to be spoken to and discussed with how their in-season is going to look. You know, maybe they have a bye week, or we have a team that we're really looking forward to training for. You know, maybe our rival school, someone that we've never beaten in the past. That is where we're going to kind of mix and match, whether it's a deload, a baseline, or a load week. More towards conditioning or more towards strength, because we do want to be mixing around power and strength. And that is basically the priorities that we see on this program.